Good morning, third grade, and happy Friday. It's Miss Martinez here, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So before we go into our new story of the day, I wanted to go ahead and quickly just shout out a response that I got from the last time when we were talking about renewable energy. Okay, so this was on Wednesday, and we were looking at the question, which type of renewable energy is the most interesting and why? And again, I told you all that this was an opinion question and that it was whatever you thought, as long as you made sure to explain what you thought and why. So this was one response that I got, and it says, I believe that the type of renewable energy that is the most interesting is solar energy. I think this because it is weird how there are solar panels that absorb the sunlight and turn it into electricity. It is cool how it does not burn up like other things could, but instead can power your home. So what I loved about this response is that we started off with a restate of the question and answered it. So this was my RA, and then gave me one reason, so a detail, and then another reason / detail. And what I loved is that they made sure that they were going back and looking at their facts, that it can power your home, that it turns into electricity, that it absorbs the sunlight, the solar panels, things like that. So that was really great to see. Now, for today, our learning target is to be able to identify the central idea of a text using details from the text to support your answer. So we're trying to figure out, well, what is the character learning in the story? What's the big idea here? What's the lesson? Things like that, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started for the day. Here is our new story. It is called Invite Only, okay? So let's pause for a minute and do not read the rest of the story. What do you think the story is going to be about? Invite only. You can look at the picture as well. What do you think based on the title of the story and the picture, what it's going to be about? All right, keep that idea in your mind and let's see if you were right as we go ahead and read. So try to read out loud with me, or at least make sure you are following along word for word as I read to you. So again, it's called Invite Only. Will I see you there on Friday? Silvana asked the group of girls. I pretended not to hear them. My older brother is coming back from college just for the party. It's going to be crazy, she said, talking loudly enough that everyone in the hallway could hear. Ever since we'd started 8th grade, things had been different. Now only the popular kids were invited to events like Silvana's 13th birthday party. So I'm looking here at this picture and I'm thinking, I'm not sure which one is Silvana, but I can take a guess that our narrator, or the person who's talking to us, is this one over here, because she seems to be out of the group. Popular was not a word I used to describe myself. Awkward or nerdy seems like more appropriate choices. So our narrator's describing herself as being kind of awkward or nerdy. Nothing wrong with that. There was no way I'd be invited to a party like that. Everywhere I went, it was all anyone was talking about. I heard there's going to be a live band, someone said. I heard there's going to be a DJ with a parrot, another person replied. I thought back to my last birthday. We'd gone to an arcade and had pizza. There was no live entertainment or exotic birds. I had worn a pin that said birthday girl. I bet Silvana will have an expensive outfit to impress everyone. Just then, the new girl, Marley, sat down next to me. So we have our narrator, we have Silvana, who's like the popular girl, and now we have a new girl named Marley. I keep hearing people whisper about Silvana's party, she said. It's just a birthday. For my 13th birthday, we had a party in my backyard, she said. We went to an arcade for mine. The whole thing was over in 2 hours, I replied. We both laughed. Marley had just moved here. I hadn't done much to make her feel very welcome. Hey, I don't have any plans on Friday. There won't be live entertainment, but would you like to come over to my house? I asked. Marley laughed. I don't normally go to people's houses if there isn't live music, but I'll make an exception this time, she said. The two girls laughed. As they made their own plans for Friday, Silvana's party seemed much less important. All right. So here is that. Let's go ahead and get started on our questions. The first one is, which of the following events is least important to the story? So a lot of times we're talking about the most important thing, but which is the least important part? Which one do we really not need to really focus on? That Silvana is hosting a fancy 13th birthday party. The main character does not think she'll be invited to Silvana's birthday party. The main character describes her 13th birthday party. Or Marley and the main character bond over not being invited to the party. Which one of these could we not have in the story and that the story would still make sense and still flow? Pause and answer the question. All right. So I don't really need the main character to tell me about her 13th birthday party because that's not going to have any effect or any impact on the rest of the story. Number 2, what does the main character learn in this story? What does she learn? That popular girls have fancy parties, that 13th birthday parties are not that much fun, that friends are best when you have things in common with them, or that you should always welcome new students. Which one of these does she learn? Does it matter that popular girls have fancy parties? No. Does it matter that Thursday parties are not that much fun? Doesn't really say anything about that. So which one do we think? Friends are best when you have things in common with them, or that you should always welcome new students? Which one do you think she learns? Oh, I'm so sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. So when you're having friends, there we go. When you're having friends, you want to have things in common with them, right? You want to be able to say, oh yeah, me too. I love to go to the arcade as well, right? All right, next one. What does the word exotic mean in the following sentence? There was no live entertainment or exotic birds. So that's actually right here as well. There was no exotic birds. What do we think the word exotic means? Normal, unusual, boring, or strong? If something's very exotic. If you picked unusual, you are correct. Exotic birds are things you don't normally see, right? We don't normally see an exotic bird or birds at a party. All right, the last question for the day. What word can be substituted for awkward in this sentence? Popular was not a word I used to describe myself. Awkward or nerdy seemed like more appropriate choices. So again, here is this over here. Do we think when she means awkward that she's talking about being smart, elegant, clumsy, or bulky? Which one do you think would best fit here if she's awkward? Like, ooh, so awkward. Elegant here means that you're very fancy or everything's very like ooh la la. Bulky, it's like, oh, it's so bulky. Yeah, clumsy would definitely be the best thing. You're awkward because you might be clumsy because you might, knock over things all the time, things like that. Okay? All right, so that is that. And the last thing we're going to do is look at our written response that we're going to be doing for the day. I want you to tell me, what is the main character's strongest trait in the story? And why do you think it's important to have? So I want you to tell me, how would you describe the character? What, is she strong? Is she independent? Is she mean? Is she lazy? What is her strongest or her best trait? And why do you think that's important to have, okay? So make sure that you're using your skills that you have learned over the course of the year to go ahead and write this out. Make sure you've checked out the other videos, that you've head over to Zern and News ELA, ladies, please. If you have not gotten a News ELA, please make sure you do that immediately. If you have questions, please reach out to me. Other than that, have a fabulous day and have a fabulous weekend. Bye.